Alright, what's going on, guys? Hope y'all are doing well. So, I know it's probably been a little while since you've seen this game on the channel. Since Vanguard has released, I haven't posted any Cold War content, and I didn't really plan on making really any more Cold War videos, unless I actually had something kind of important to talk about, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to be talking about a potential year 2 of Black Ops Cold War Zombies content, and how likely this actually is. We'll talk about all the stuff we know regarding a second year of Cold War content, the updates that have actually been implemented to the game even though Vanguard is already out, and some other stuff to give us a general direction of where Zombies is going and where it's headed. I'm gonna be honest, I really haven't been playing Vanguard Zombies hardly at all. I've been playing a lot more Halo, and you guys have probably seen that on the channel, but I still want to keep updated on what's happening with Zombies, and we will be talking about Vanguard shortly, but today is about Black Ops Cold War Zombies Year 2. We're here for an important reason. If you guys would like to see more Cold War Zombies content, leave a like on the video. And I don't mean in terms of, like, my content, but if you would like Treyarch to make more content for Cold War, then let me know by dropping a thumbs up. And hopefully they can at least see that this is sort of the support that this kind of idea gets. If you're new to the channel and would like to see more content, make sure to subscribe. I can't guarantee it'll be Cold War Zombies content, but it might be a little bit of Vanguard, and I also have been playing a lot of Halo, so if that interests you at all, that's what we're here for. So I don't want to waste your guys' time. I'm going to cut right to the chase. Treyarch had tweeted a little bit after Vanguard had come out, and there was a Black Ops Cold War update, and I'm pretty sure it was mostly multiplayer stuff. There were a few zombie fixes, but nothing too crazy as far as an update that you need to play. Although it did happen after the fact, this is at least confirmation, or we've at least seen, that Treyarch has updated the game even despite the next COD being out. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but where's the idea of a Cold War Zombies Year 2 supply coming from? Well, we do know that Treyarch, at least at some point, developed standalone maps that involve the likes of Kino der Toten and also Der Riese. This was something we had suspected to some degree, but we now know as the concept art for Cold War has come out. I'm just going to put a couple of these up on screen because not only are they very revealing, but they're also just kind of pretty to look at. But basically, what we know and can gather from a lot of these screenshots is Nocturne Toten, a standalone version of the build, was planned, and whether it was supposed to be a full-on round-based map, as in the style that we see in Cold War, that has a fully fledged Easter egg and side quests and that kind of stuff, we're not entirely sure. But also Der Riese was one of those things that potentially may have been used to test zombies, or could have been a standalone map in and of itself. Now, the thing is, because these are developed, what did they do with them? The whole theory on this was they're probably just going to use it for Vanguard stuff, as it would have made more sense to do that in a sort of more World War II timeline. And I guess while that's not technically out of the realm of possibility, Vanguard is out now, and let's just say LMAO. Also know from a tweet from a very prominent leaker in the community that has gotten basically everything about Cold War right throughout the year, was that this is supposed to be the most supported game as far as COD franchise history that is like a post-launch sort of season production. That basically means that Cold War is supposed to have at least like another year or of support roughly, maybe not to the degree that it was while it was in its prime or in season, but at least some sort of capacity of support. And again, we did have that one small update directly after Vanguard came out, which I guess does count, but it's not actual tangible content. But I think right now, as far as the Zombies community is concerned, Cold War is going to need something to hold Zombies fans over, because Vanguard right now just not getting it done, and it's not cutting it for Zombies fans. Like, it's so obvious that the game is just not done, and they're gonna be polishing it and bringing it up to the standards it should have launched with, probably by, like, I don't know, season 3 or 4. But that by that point, like, I don't know if anybody's even gonna care or still be invested. Cold War, on the other hand, had people kind of on board from the beginning, and, you know, you could say some people dropped off or joined the club of Cold War as it went on, especially with Outbreak, as it was quite divisive, but also got a lot of new players on board. Treyarch has to know that at this point, they either have to continue with Vanguard or retroactively add content to Cold War, because from what we understand, the next year of Call of Duty in 2022 is going to be another Modern Warfare, which presumably is not going to have zombies, unless for some reason they would go and do that. I'm going to say I highly doubt it. So we wouldn't see another Treyarch Zombies iteration, which we know they are working on due to the ending of Forsaken. We've seen it in the cutscene. That wouldn't release until about 2023. And in case you haven't been following the news about Activision recently, they're not looking too hot as far as their reputation is concerned, and I'm not really sure how that's going to affect the production of their games. I really do see that at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if Call of Duty doesn't do a yearly release cycle anymore. I think it would be healthy for the franchise overall, because if they continue on the path that they're on, and especially it's shown very heavily with Vanguard, like, they're just releasing half-baked games, and at some point, people are just going to stop buying them. Now, one One of the potential problems with adding a second year of content to Cold War, and specifically in Zombies, is it would have to be behind some kind of paywall. Similarly, how Zombies Chronicles was, extra and it did not come with the DLC pass. That would have to be the case for Cold War, because it's not like, okay, Activision would make money from it, sure, but also if it were free, literally developers themselves, at Treyarch, would be screwed out of money essentially, or they would be having to make these maps and not being able to put food on the table. So to some degree, these would have to cost money, and I'm not sure how they would feel about doing another set of maps behind a paywall for Cold War. Although in the original leaks of this game, that was supposed to be the case. And a lot of people think this was the form of Zombies Chronicles 2, and in my opinion, and from what I know about how these things are developed, Zombies Chronicles 2 was not really planned for Cold War, or it did develop to some degree, but it's not what you're thinking. It wasn't just the last 3 maps that haven't been remastered, Transit, Die, Rise, and Buried. Those aren't gonna be just released in their own pack. I think if they were to do a true Zombies Chronicles 2, they would have to pull from maps and remaster them again, or pull from maps even in Black Ops 3. Remastered map pack for Cold War Zombies, specifically featuring Buried, Die, Rise, and Transit, honestly just wouldn't cut it as a full-on pack, and especially comparing it to the original Chronicles, which had significantly more maps and features, I don't think this would really fly over well. So they would need to do a little bit more if they were going to make that sort of thing worth it. And once again, Zombies Chronicles was the best-selling DLC of all time, and they have to at least understand that to a degree, and it would be behind some kind of paywall. They also have to consider if Treyarch would want to pull off resources to keep working on Cold War content when ideally they're working on their next game. Now you might say, well, they're already working on Vanguard, so what's the difference? I'm gonna go ahead and assume, and I don't know this for sure, but my assumption is some sort of B team at Treyarch is working on Vanguard. I'm sure there's a lot of upper, Treyarch developers and employees that have worked on Vanguard, that, worked on Cold War, or even, BO3, BO4 years past, but I'm gonna assume that for the most part, Vanguard Zombies is handled by a very small team of maybe B developers at Treyarch. At the same time, I can imagine the A team is fully focused in on, I assume, the 2023 Treyarch Zombies project. Other than that, I wouldn't know what they're up to. I think for Zombies to maintain some kind of relevancy, as far as new Zombies content, it would be best dropped on Cold War. I really do. As far as Vanguard Zombies is concerned, the sales are down tremendously, around 40% from last year, and it's not a super accurate comparison, as many people ended up purchasing Cold War as a result of being locked inside due to the pandemic and everything, so the numbers are inflated a little bit. But needless to say, Vanguard Zombies isn't selling nearly, or Vanguard in general isn't selling nearly as well as it could, or even that it was expected to. Most people would rather play Cold War. I've gathered that from not only my comment section, but just from literally everywhere I can see on the internet. Most people would just rather have more DLC and updates for this game, possibly even if it means that that content is locked behind a paywall. I don't see too many downsides with going that route, but it would have to pull off some kind of talent at Treyarch. We've seen first and foremost, which that sort of is the deal with what happens if you do that with Vanguard, which possibly isn't the best outcome. So we do know that to some degree they could do these small survival maps for Cold War. Whether or not that would satisfy the Zombies player base, I'm not entirely sure. I think it would be hype for a little bit, but I don't know if that is the best long-term situation. Now, when we think about it realistically, the game that got the most amount of post-launch support as far as Zombies goes was obviously Black Ops 3. BO4 was going to have that same degree of post-launch Zombies content, but for obvious reasons was either scrapped or implemented into the game early. But that content that was developed for BO4 did exist to an extent, and a lot of us assumed it would be added in Cold War, and maybe that's still a possibility, but we haven't seen it yet or really heard anything about it yet either. We can say for sure that adding content to Black Ops 4 is a no, adding content into Black Ops Cold War is a maybe, adding content into Vanguard is also probably a no, just because of the low amount of sales and general negative reception that the game has already gotten. It seems like they don't want to waste that sort of thing on it, so either we see it in Cold War, or I don't think that we're going to see a lot of this extra content that could have been implemented until 2023. So the point I'm making, I'm sure Treyarch would love to keep supporting Cold War content. I actually think they want to, but it's really a matter of fact of getting that around Activision and getting these sort of post-launch updates approved. Based on what I've interacted with Activision and Treyarch in the past, there is a lot of things that developers would like to do, and I've personally talked to them about this, but they have to like get it approved and greenlit, and sometimes that process takes months. So I'm not sure if they're going to attempt to save the game through Cold War, or they're going to try to do something in Vanguard. But if a Cold War Year 2 does happen, then I will be the first to let you guys know. I'm going to assume right now there's really nothing set in stone, but it's not impossible. If it were to happen, however, I think like some kind of round-based map, and then maybe even some small survival maps, possibly even more additions to Outbreak, as I am an Outbreak lover, I wouldn't be too mad with it all. But I want to know what you guys think. If there had to be post-launch support for Cold War, what would you like it to be? Do you want a Zombies Chronicles 2? Do you want other remastered maps? Or do you want entirely brand new stuff? Or do you want that stuff added in Vanguard? I'm going to assume not. But I would love to know your guys' opinions and thoughts down below. I want to thank you guys very much for watching anyways. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I also stream over on Twitch. If you don't follow me, link to that's in the description. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy, and peace out.